So last week I was able to watch the apology sermon where John Gray spoke about the outcomes in regards to his extramarital affairs. A lot of people are devastated or outraged, and you have some people that are praying for him and rooting for him to get himself together. Now, it's been a week, and he is still pastoring. I was able to slip in on one of his sermons today, and he spoke about various things. He reminded us of his shortcomings and downfalls. He spoke about the fact that he's in therapy, and he spoke about David being the underdog in the Bible. He also spoke about a man that's been stalking him and his family. And John Gray said that the church crew knows about it, and he said he finally confronted this man, and this man came in his house, and John Gray said that he yoked the man up by his shirt. And he said that the man that's been stalking him and his family is him. I was like, what? And so John Gray said that, the shirt that he yoked them up by, he can't fit that shirt anymore, and that he's been losing weight and drinking water. And I was just like, I get it, but I don't. It's just the analogy didn't go over very well, but I was not really receptive of John Gray's sermon. It just did not feel right. And the cheating incidents, the things that he's done is kind of like still in the back of my mind. It's still fresh. So it's just kind of hard to receive his message. I've been looking at a lot of the comments on YouTube and social media in regards to this situation. There's a lot of people that are disgusted with him. They want him to step down. They want him to take some time off and maybe come back. But just in listening to John Gray's sermons and looking at the comments and everything on social media, one topic comes to mind, and that's time. And I don't think that John Gray understands the importance and the impact of time. It can impact him negatively, or it can impact him positively. Because my biggest questions are, is John Gray going to step down? Or is John Gray going to take a hiatus or a sabbatical and come back? But time will play a factor in this whole situation. And let me tell you why. And I want you to follow me here. Time is something that we cannot control. Time is something that we need to heal. We need to use time to become better. You ever been in a situation where you were going through it at the time, but a year or 2 years or 3 years or 5 years went by and things are better? You look back at what you've been through and you're like, wow, I don't believe that happened. But time went on and I became better and stronger and wiser. I needed that time. And it's good that we can't control time, because if we were able to control time, nothing would progress. We'd be working backwards or standing still. But time is needed in our lives, but it's not good for us to control it. So I want you guys to listen to these two scenarios, and I'm going to throw another scenario in here, but listen to these two scenarios, and I'm going to apply it to the situation regarding John Gray. So let's look at scenario A. And let's say there's a football game going on. It's homecoming. You have your star wide receiver out there ready to go. Boom. Quarterback throws the ball. Game is tied. He does an out route. Boom. Catches the ball. He's dodging the defensive lineman. And then one of the defensive linemen catches up with him, hits him somewhere in his knee, but the wide receiver manages to bounce back and keep going. He's clear. He's seeing his way through. He's almost at the end zone to make that touchdown. But he's feeling that pain in his knee. And he's thinking to himself in that instance, if I don't make this touchdown, we're not going to win this game. We're in the fourth quarter. It's hot right now. But he pushes through that pain to make that touchdown. The crowd goes wild. The team goes wild. Everybody's crazy. We won homecoming. It's a movie. It's lit. But the thing is that the wide receivers on the ground in the end zone, everybody's happy, but that wide receiver has torn his ACL and he's hurt. And he's also out for the rest of the season. That's your star wide receiver. Now, if he had stopped when he felt that pain, he wouldn't have furthered that damage. But because he wanted to push and press on to make that touchdown to win that game, he damaged himself. So John Gray, are you that wide receiver that's in pain and that's damaged and you've been hit? Are you going to keep going on and damage yourself anymore till you crash and burn? Is it worth it? Is it worth it? I think it would be good for you to stop where you are. Take some time off. Get yourself together before you hurt yourself. Because that wide receiver that I spoke of is out for the rest of the season. And maybe you need to stop, take some time off, and be out for a season too. It's not all about winning. Sometimes it's about getting yourself together before you crash and burn. Let's think about another scenario. Chris Brown. If you guys remember what happened with Chris Brown and Rihanna, just think back to it. It was a devastating time. I was such a fan of Chris Brown, and I heard about everything. Like, I just was like, yo, I am livid. I was just so upset in regards to what he did to her. And then when that picture of Rihanna came out, and I'm not going to put it up because I have a whole lot of respect for Rihanna. When that picture of her came out, I was done. Like, I threw away Chris Brown's CDs. I stopped listening to his music. I was over it. And people hated him and made fun of him. They stopped playing his music. It was ridiculous. And Chris Brown had to lay low for a little bit. If I'm not mistaken, he went to go stay with Diddy. He's trying to do interviews and stuff. Some interviews didn't go over well. He violated his probation, went to jail, came back. But regardless of the fact, Chris Brown started, he was doing his music. He started inching his way back in and crawling, trying to get back in the good graces. And people were still making fun of him. He was still getting the hate. But he eventually just got full blown back out there into the mainstream. And it took time for Chris Brown to get back right. He was determined, but he had to take a little bit of time and go through a couple bumps in the road before he can get back on top again. There's some people that still don't like him, and that's okay. But it took time. For me, I listen to Chris Brown's music every now and then. But I'll tell you one thing, when I see Chris Brown, I don't think of Rihanna anymore. Because I used to look at him and think of Rihanna, but I don't think of Rihanna anymore when I see him. Like, somebody has to speak about it for me to be like, oh yeah, that happened. Again, it took time for him to get his sorts together, in a sense. It took time for everybody to kind of not think about that situation anymore. And John Gray, again, if you lay low, put yourself out there a little bit more, and then come back stronger than ever, maybe things can work. Maybe you can heal and get back right. But in looking at these scenarios here, maybe he needs to step down. That's another scenario. Maybe he just needs to completely go out of the limelight and not come back. Maybe him stepping away from the pulpit and stepping away from the church might be the best thing to do. There's a lot of celebrities that have done that. Something's happened, a scandal has happened, and things have never been the same for them. Especially when it's happened more than one time. It's people that's fled the country. It's people that need to flee the country, like Tory Lanez. But regardless of the fact, maybe John Gray needs to do that too. I'm telling you, there's a lot of people that believe in pastors. look to them for so much. And what I see that John Gray is doing is saying, you know what, I'm not going to let anything stop me. I'm going to go through therapy. You know, I'm going to push through. I'm not going to let the haters stop me. No. What happened the first time is that John Gray, you know, had the voicemails and all that stuff come out the first time. He got up in front of the church with his wife. They indirectly addressed everything. Boom, he kept going. All right. Now everything happens again. He's not in front of the church. He's addressing it to some capacity. And now he's continuing to pastor again. My thing is he should have been addressed and sat down the first time, instead of him feeling like I can come back and keep pastoring the second time. See, when you don't top somebody and take care of things the first time, they're going to feel like it's okay to do it again. You have to give some sort of punishment in order for somebody to feel it. He needs repercussions. I'm sorry. Rather it's a hiatus or sabbatical, or rather it's him stepping down. He has to be able to know that I can't do this again. I can't put a Band-Aid on the situation and just walk away and wait for it to heal. You just can't tell us that you're going to therapy, because there's so many people that have looked up to you and thought that everything was okay the first time, and now we're back at it again. Time is a healer. John Gray, you may need to just step away or step down. What you did was not okay. And I was able to sit down and actually listen to the full interview with Tasha K and the woman named Mary, because I had only seen snippets of the FaceTime. But to kind of sit down and listen to this woman speak about it, like actually sit down and listen to everything, I was just like, man, it just added more fuel to the fire inside of me for this whole situation. You know what? It's the lack of accountability for me. It's the fact that John Gray feels like this is okay. You know, he called out, and I don't know if you guys caught this, he called out other pastors that are doing wrong. And he said that, wow, it happens to be me that's going through it. But they haven't been caught. These pastors doing a whole lot of other bad things, but I'm getting caught. I'm getting highlighted.
Of my church, I'm a member. I don't preach above the people. I preach with the people, right? Because I need the same Jesus that they need. Yeah. And so I've always extended grace. Frank, do you know how much I know about our friends who are pastors all over this great nation? And you'll never hear me say it. I cover. But this is my turn. And the greatest thing that could happen is this moment that exposed that thing in me that needed to be addressed. Here's what Scripture says.
Or any area in your life that doesn't line up with the word. Because let me tell you something. If you serve him in any capacity, if you're a pastor that's watching me, hear me clearly. If God will address me, he will come knock on your door. So if there's anything in your life, you sir or you ma'am, does not line up with the word, I urge you, give it to God now while you still have time.
Okay, I got it. No. That's arrogant. That's arrogant and ignorant of him to say. Where is Aventer? That's my question. Another question that I have is, where is Aventer? Is she healing? What is she doing? Does Aventer have a good girlfriend in her corner to say, hey, let me be some sort of counsel to you, girl. Let me help you out. I remember Ayanna Van Zandt asked Karrueche the same question. Speaking of Chris Brown, she asked Karrueche the same question. Do you have a good girlfriend in your corner? Because if Aventer has some good girlfriends in her corner, I think they wouldn't let her fall short. But that's just me. So, John Gray, are you going to pastor until you crash and burn? Because just like that wide receiver, he kept going until he tore his ACL. And it hurt him in the end. Or are you going to lay low and come back and still experience the hate like Chris Brown? But are you going to take some time off and come back? Or you're going to step down and minister and pastor in your own family, but not to other people that have looked up to you and thought that this maybe wouldn't happen again? But naively, people thought wrong. So I want you guys to give me your thoughts on how you feel about this whole situation. I know a lot of you have been making comments saying, hey, he needs to step down. He needs to take some time off. But continue to tell me how you feel. This is a safe space. Tell me how you feel. Get your thoughts out. Get your feelings out. Drop down in the comments. Let me know how you feel. You guys take care.